What's up, everybody? My name's Chance, and today we're doing the ninth episode of the FNM podcast. And with me here today, we have MTG Jeff and Hello Good Game.
What is up, everybody? How you guys doing? Welcome.
What he said.
So today we're going to be talking a little bit about Amonkhet, some of the things that we enjoy about it. Not going through the entire list, as those things tend to take quite a while. And we're also going to be You know what?
We're going to be talking about the state of design that Mark Rosewater put out. There's a lot of interesting stuff that's come out, news-wise, some articles. So we're just going to be diving right into how is the state of the game, what's going on Arena, and what do you guys think about Amonkhet?
I think there's a lot of content.
Yeah. Between Jumpstart and Amonkhet, and like my little vacation fell in the middle of them, I'm like lost. There's like what 1,200 new cards, something like that just came out within the past 30 days. It's a lot. And then we got another set coming out in what 30 more days, something like that, a little over 30 days.
Yeah, Zendikar Rising coming out. I forget when it's hitting Arena, but it's September 20 something.
Yeah, well,
it's getting insane.
Yeah, it feels like I'm almost tempted to just pick a lane and stick with it. Like I'm very tempted to do historic, but at the same time, I start looking at historic cards, and I'm like, well, that would be awesome, and that would be awesome, and that would be awesome, and I'm like, oh fuck, I don't have enough wild cards for this.
You know, like the card pool is growing so quickly, and I've heard whispers, and we've seen in the last state of the game, a mention of them bringing Pioneer into the historic card pool eventually as well. So it's like, this seems like a lot, and I don't even think we're starting yet. Like, it is just beginning to ramp up. We're going to get a lot more cards, and it's not going to be a matter of like keeping your collection complete. I think very quickly everyone will have incomplete collections, for a while and a long time to come. As someone who avidly plays the game every day and even spends a little bit here and there, my set's not done. It was close to being done, but now is nowhere close. Right, there are so many cards to get.
The mythic,
and so many more that are coming.
Cards are just eating up so quick, man. I talked about this in one of my videos where it's like, hey, I showed a video, I'm like, this is the video I really want to do, but I don't have enough to get Massacre Worm, whatever, like, because it's a mythic, and I just spent 5 other mythics on these other decks and stuff, and it's just like, it gets intense. I think that, I don't know, it's overall, I'm really excited with what's going on. I really like having new stuff come out every month, because we talked about this before, where a set comes out before and it was 30 days before you had, or sorry, it was 90 days before you had anything really new going on. And it was around, like 60 days that we were all kind of burnt out. The last 30 days always felt like, man, we're kind of chugging through that last little bit. And we'd see also a decline on players in general in Arena. I think that they actually talked about in a state of the game once upon a time as well, where basically they were just recognizing people stopped playing as much a few days after Standard came out. And that was why Modern was born, and Pioneer and all these other formats, because Standard is only fun for so long, with new stuff. And you also want to be able to play with older cards. So I really like that they're bringing in Jumpstart, bringing in Amonkhet. I think that it's a good time for all this to be coming out right before rotation. So all of the people that are newer, that are still trying to build up those standard, collections, will kind of be able to transition a little bit more naturally into a really fun format where Historic is. Honestly, I'm loving where Historic is. This last week has been a blast playing it. Chance, you've not been able to actually play it yet, though. So let's hear it from someone's perspective that has been, well, kind of off the face of the world, or I guess all over the face of the world for the last how long?
2 weeks.
2 weeks. Goodness.
Yeah, it was a long trip. It was a fun one though. But I didn't know Amonkhet was coming out while I was away. Like, kept hearing about Amonkhet, whatever, coming back, and then I was trying to stay off social media and away from work and all that good stuff. But I kept getting emails and tweets and all that popping up, Amonkhet, and I was like, all right, I gotta check, I gotta see. So I went and looked, and yeah, sure enough, it had been released, and I took all of this morning actually looking through the mythic rares and the rares, and I didn't bother with the uncommons because I was already like overwhelmed with deck ideas, and it seems very fun. But I think I'm actually gonna have to do the old free to play method where I just go in and play draft and get cards like that and try to cycle through, and maybe not worry so much about aiming for the cards I want, but just try to complete the set as much as I can because there's so many awesome things in this set.
It's really fun. Like, I'm not sure if Hello Good Game, if you've actually been able to play too much with Amonkhet, but dude, there's so many fun interactions. All the zombies are back, so zombie tribal is a thing a million times over because I've already thought of, I think I've built already 3 different zombie tribal type of decks. There's just so many fun things. Solemnity is a fun card. But before we get off of Chance, I mean, I'm not sure if this is the place, but I heard you also had some exciting news pop up.
Yeah, I actually still got to make a post on my channel because I was meaning to do a post of the pictures we'd taken and all that. I'm actually getting married, so I asked my girlfriend. Yeah.
I am. I feel like I'm way more excited than
Yeah. I feel like you're the most
That's
excited
awesome.
about this, Jeff.
So, yeah, Dr. Spillikin was able to actually come to my house during their trip, and so I got to meet my wife. My wife became best friends with your new fiance
Yeah.
as well, and so that was kind of cool. Anyway, so I'm kind of hyped. I think it's awesome.
Yeah. It was.
Well, I missed so much of that. Did we just have the big announcement?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Sorry, I did that with
someone.
This is the first time ETG is hearing about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sadly, not though. Someone leaked this. This is how small the world is.
Oh man.
Yeah, leaked news the other day in my chat. Getting engaged. It's like, how am I finding out about this
In your
through
chat?
my own Twitch chat? Come on.
Well,
but nonetheless, that's incredible, bro. That's very exciting.
I got back and I took like the whole first day we got back to sort of rest and recuperated. Then like 10, 11 o'clock at night, I was like, well, I got to get some footage out for tomorrow and the next day. So I turned on the stream and I told everybody there, but it was only like 8 people. So
those 8 people have been
they got big mouths. I'm going to find you.
Yeah. And so then, yes, this has been kind of a month of or week of big events. I also had a baby, or my wife had a baby within the last few weeks as well, and so it's been exciting. Yeah, dude, this is great. HEG is about to hit 10K subs. Dude, he's crushing it right now. And I think he's also frozen.
I think so. I was about to say, I can't tell if he's contemplating us really hard right now.
All right.
So moving back to Magic stuff, State of Design 2020. For those of you who don't know, I actually didn't know this until Jeff just told us before this podcast. It's basically where Mark Rosewater comes in every year and says, "Hey, we're basically gonna take a top-down view, a summary of how we felt the year went and how we felt the crowd and players and all that responded to everything we did." So it's a pretty great article actually, and if you're someone that likes to complain about Wizards, I'm sure you'll enjoy reading this article because it's them saying, "Hey, we heard you, in Throne of Eldraine, this is where we messed up, and Theros, this is where we messed up." So it's a really great article. Jeff or HGG, you want to dive into the contents a little bit?
Here, before we jump into, if you want to take some of the stuff, I was just wanting to say one thing I really liked about this was just the first points they had is that Magic is growing like crazy. They said that this is more people have played Magic this year than ever before. More product has been purchased than ever before, and more digital Magic has played than ever before. And so that was just one point I wanted to touch on before we dive into the contents of all this. Is just like Magic is a great place right now. Like, and we are people that love when Magic does well, not just because we make content and everything like that, but because we love the game, we love the company, we love it when it's doing well, and lots of people playing means there's going to be more good stuff coming out, that they can do more things, they can improve Arena more, that kind of stuff, if it's a bigger focus. So Anyway, I just want to say that's the first thing before we jump into anything else, is that it's obviously doing something right, because it's more players than ever before. And so they're definitely doing something good. But yeah, let's jump into it.
Two things, well, three things, get right out of the way. First off, my connection is trash. I apologize. Second off, this article goes to 2005. So take a gander, get into it. You won't regret it, and you'll come out with a very in-depth understanding of how the marketing, the research and development, and all of that works within this wonderful company, who has been around like decades, you guys, right? And these things are a requirement. If you don't change slowly, you'll get outpaced and die. Change is uncomfortable. It comes along with mistakes and growing pains. But those mistakes, because we are adapting and accepting change, are remedied, right? And then we get new mistakes to remedy later on. But regardless, this is a process of like innovation that is somewhat uncomfortable if you are unaware of it. And I think by becoming aware of it, you can really begin to appreciate it and respect it for what it is. I had something else great. Yes, and we're talking about Magic doing amazing, right? I get this comments a lot, which is sad, but this is literally how I've dealt with it, was his exact response as well. So like, well, Arena's killing paper, and like that's so bad for the company. Man. I went through dry spells of not buying paper cards. You know what I mean? Like I played a little bit and it's like, well, I don't have a local community. I just wasted hundreds of dollars on these cards that I'm never going to use. Ugh. But now Arena's out. Myself, all of my friends are playing Arena all the time. They're teasing us with those amazing cards. Pre-release comes out. Boys want to have a draft together. We're buying more packs than ever. And if it's a pattern you see within yourself and your peer group, it's through the whole society, and everybody's doing it as well. So, Arena is growing. The digital format is growing. Their actual product sales through paper are growing. And then if there's more paper products out there, that means that those cards are being used. People aren't just storing them in closets like me. They're out using them. And I know we can't right now because of the current circumstances. But once it's all cleared up, I think Magic is going to be bigger, badder, and stronger than ever.
Yeah, and another thing to remember with Arena.
Oh, and so we've got all these.
That was good timing. All right,
you good?
I think we lost HEG as well. I'm not hearing him right now. Yeah, sorry, HEG. So one thing I think is really, really cool about this, I'm really excited about where everything's going. Basically, Mark Rosewater has been very clear on Twitter. If you ever follow him on Twitter with his stuff, by the way, follow all of us on Twitter as well. One of the cool things that he kind of jumps in is he's been talking a lot about how they've been trying to focus on more innovation than balance this year, kind of testing that out. And so going in at the beginning, like he created a bunch of posts about that kind of at the beginning. And then with this year going on, he has been, that's why we have things like Oko come out, things that are really innovative, things that are really powerful, too powerful. And they definitely get that, one of the lessons they said here is too many elk. And I think that too powerful of cards is a high quality problem. High quality problems are problems where it's like, even if you're making $1 million, you're still going to have problems, but the problems become higher quality, basically, where it's one of those where like you've made enough right decisions that there's going to be, of course, some that are bad. And I think that it's better to have too many powerful cards or cards that are overpowered than cards that aren't at all. When the game was completely focused around paper, that was an issue because, of course, you didn't want the card that you spend a bunch of money on and have it in your hand to all of a sudden get banned and you get nothing out of it. It's just gonzo. It's terrible. It's one of the worst feelings in the world. The thing I really like about Arena is, especially everything moving towards that, is that we finally get a more just it's a flow. It's they can change things up on the fly, whatever. And so especially standard and Historic, which is a completely only digital format right now, I think is a perfect place for us to be having them experiment with putting more powerful things in. I'm actually kind of bummed when they ever take out stuff like they didn't include Adorn Pouncer in Amonkhet or a few other cards they felt like might have been too powerful with everything else there or didn't focus on. And it's one of those where like I think in the digital format, I'm totally fine with them going overboard with power because that means I get to play with it. You know, I get to have fun doing interesting stuff. Fire's Invention was an awesome card for a while. It just stuck around for too long. And people got tired of it, and then they banned it. You know, that's how it goes. I think that they're still banning things, and they talked about this recently too. But and sorry, I'm getting a little long-winded, but they talked about how they're going to be changing up their banning system for Historic and Standard because it's moving towards digital. Instead of waiting for a competitive play to happen and recognize how many people have played this card, that's how they typically do it. Instead, they're going to be going more towards, all right, this just needs to be banned. Oko doesn't need to go a month before it gets banned. They can decide in a week or two, you know. And so that is kind of what I'm one of the lessons I'm hoping they found with this. Again, I'm still reading through this novel of a post, an article, but anyway.
So the data pool that they have access to through Arena is much more in depth than the paper format ever was. So there's so many more, data points to make those decisions, maybe at a little bit more of an expedited rate. So, that totally makes sense. And we've seen all of these new historic cards injected in. I think we're going to get the friendly brawl full time, not friendly brawl, just historic brawl. Because right now the only way to play historic brawl is with your friends.
Yeah.
And I just keep seeing these great commanders being leaked into historic. And we've got to get a way to be using them more often than just playing with your friends.
Yeah, and another thing on the arena topic and like it improving and having flaws and all that, it's like even though Magic has been around for decades, like HGG said, MTG Arena has only been around for what, 2.5, almost 3 years.
It is
like
a
that.
very in-depth article, though. That's for sure.
It's a very new digital area for Wizards and Magic Arena because that's a whole different design team than normal Magic. So I think that we should be a little bit lenient with the conversion of paper into cards, as Magic is one of the only games doing it, right? Hearthstone is all digital, so they don't have this qualm of do we print cards like this or that or whatever. Runeterra is all digital, so they don't have, I feel like, a third of the problems that Magic has to face, where it's like they have to please two audiences, and even in having to please one audience, you're not going to make everybody happy. So I think as the years go on, in MTGO was out for how long? Like several years of people using an Excel spreadsheet to play Magic, and now they have Arena. I think give this game 5 years, it'll be fantastic. You'll have a very modern feel in historic, and standard will be refined to the point where you won't have those random bannings, right? They'll probably be good enough at telling when a card's going to get banned to at least give you a week or something. So I'm very excited for the years to come.
Yeah, I think that, and just what we were saying before, Magic has never been played more now. Like it's played more now than ever before. And that's awesome. I think that just shows how powerful MTG Arena is, and online. I don't hate MTG Online. I do prefer, of course, the Arena format, and that's kind of why we're here. But being able to actually have almost a separation. Like my friends and I, we loved the standard format, but it was one of those where like we got to a point where we couldn't play it anymore, and that basically I wasn't willing to go purchase all the commander stuff because it was just an expensive thing to get into. I had cards for standard, and that was all that I had, and so I was wanting to play that. And that's part of the reason I really leaned more towards Arena before I started the channel, before I did anything else, was just I wanted to be able to play the format that I knew. I like that Arena is there for that. And then I think it's perfect because then whenever I do want to play with friends, I'm fine playing other formats. I'm fine then jumping into Commander and doing other stuff and having that be the only thing that I focus, those resources on for physical cards. And like HEG was saying before, there's a very big difference in cost when it comes to having cards on Arena versus having them in paper. I understand that you don't necessarily own the digital version, everything like that, but um, overall, I think it creates a very good place to be able to play both uh, both formats or a couple formats really easily.
Yeah, it
For me,
also
Commander is too expensive.
Yeah. You can build decks that are very cheap. You can do a lot of really cheap builds. What I found that works for me is I usually just buy the pre-con decks. Like whenever a new pre-con decks comes out, every once in a while I'll get one or two of them here and there, and then I just kind of improve upon them. I have never once bought a single card, like a card just by itself. I've only ever bought a product. Um, and I think that now with Double Masters coming out, with everything, the prices have dropped tremendously for very powerful cards, and I think that's going to be a good thing for Commander to an extent. Um, I think that we kind of all feel the same way, where it's like we don't want to be spending a bunch of money on things like just physical cards when our focus is on Arena. But I think that the state of the game again, I think it's a good place right now to actually be jumping into Commander a little bit more as well. Anyway, side note.
I was about to say,
Mm-hmm.
Commander's not even on there. We're just talking about everything today.
Yeah.
I
feel. Sorry, go ahead, Doctor.
I was just gonna say, I'm really excited. Like I played, and so a lot of people may hate this little analogy or whatever that I'm about to make. I hopped into playing League of Legends back whenever I was a teenager, right? And then I played that game for like 7 years straight, like on and off or whatever. Magic is very much like that to me. And I'm always been the kind of player that's like, give me 3 to 4 games, and I'll pretty much focus on those. And I'm excited to see year 5, year 10 of Magic, right? Because we know this game's going to stick around, and it's only going to get better and more refined. I want to see, the launcher, the client in year 5. How refined is it? Do we have a space where we can actually build decks openly, like a play mat, so to speak? Like, super excited, even for the aesthetics. I'm not a huge aesthetics fan, but I do think in a free-to-play environment, that is amazing. That's how companies should be doing it, free to play, and then pay for aesthetics. And if they want to charge $15 for fucking avatar, let them, because it's not required to actually play the game. So I know a lot of people complain about the aesthetics and their cost, but like you're not required to buy it to have fun. So
yeah, I think how we have the stages right now. I would love to see them incorporate playmats, kind of like your own stage where you get your half, they get their half. Yeah, it looks better when it's all one, but if you could be customizing, like we can pick our own sleeves already, but if we could be grabbing our own playmats as well.
Yeah.
Someone send that email. They'll appreciate that.
I'm sure that they're working on it. It is, yeah. There are a lot of things where I feel like they've taken a long time to roll out some of those monetization things. At the same time, though, so many products have come out, so many cards have been put on there, and they've had good animations with all of those cards. They function pretty well. Like especially this year, I've noticed the last like few sets that have come out, not that many glitches. Like in comparison to like, yeah, just a lot. Like I really can't think of like interactions where like, oh, that shouldn't happen. There's only a couple here and there that still even happen at all that I run into. I play a lot of Magic on Arena, so it's like I feel like if anyone would run into it, it would be me. I do a lot of dumb things on Arena as well, and they all work. So I think that it's actually a really good place. Like I've been really impressed with how much they have rolled out, even if there's still a lot more to do. But like Chance was saying, for MTG Arena at least, this is year 2. If you count the alpha and the beta, so this is what I guess year 1 really of MTG Arena is about done. And so I think it's fine where it's at.
Yeah, I think we have had those glitches where the mechanics don't work how they're supposed to. I forget off the top of my head the last one we had, but they do a very good job at hot patching those. As soon as like people blast it on Twitter, you might get a day or two max with it, and then it's been patched. It's not like any balancing where we are doing like the restricted and banned announcements every couple months. Like the game is being changed if there are real issues on a day-to-day basis to keep it where it needs to be.
Yeah, I'd say my only like still hard complaint, and that the thing that I'm harping on is the visual effects, like especially with the new board. Now, of course, like my computer's fine with it. I'm assuming y'all's computers are fine with it as we record and all that. So we sort of already have beefier computers, but it's a sand field with constant pixels and all that blowing across the board, and it's like, man, that's very intense. If you have a bad computer, you can't even play, and they don't allow you to select the field. So it's like, I played on it last night's stream or night before. What is today? Yeah, last night's stream I played, and it was like 10 matches back to back of this pyramid, which would have been fine. But again, it's like it gets intense, and it gets intense not being able to change it. So I want more friendly settings, like more in-depth settings. Let me turn my resolution to like 10 by 10 if I want to, little pixels. As long as I can play, like that should be all that matters. And I think that's the big hang up with a lot of people on MTGO versus Arena is like, MTGO, I feel like a calculator could run it. No offense to it.
Right,
It's beautiful. It was the first edition of Arena, but I do feel like they should cater a little bit more to the people who don't have souped up computers.
I think that moving it towards mobile and tablets, like because not many people have good computers, but almost everyone has a smartphone that can handle something, type of thing, like where and you typically have one or the other. If you don't have either of those, you can't play games. I mean, that's just how it goes. But but I think that is something that is interesting. There is the mobile aspect that will be coming out. They said that it was only coming out this year. I don't remember the time frame. I think it was like October or something like that. If I'm remembering from a few months ago, but I'm excited to see if that still is in the works and going to be happening. I know that this year has just been crazy for everyone in the world, and so who knows what's happening on time or whatnot. But yeah, so I think that having the ability to play mobile will help with that issue to an extent, of course. And so yeah, I think that they're doing a good job of getting a lot of things rolled out. I would say if we are just bringing up like things that would be great if they improved upon, we were talking about this before, with buying packs versus getting cards on Arena, all that kind of stuff. One thing, I'm not sure if you guys have ever tested out the Pokemon on the digital version of Pokemon trading card game. If you ever buy a pack of Pokemon cards in physical version, you get that pack as well on the digital version as well. Or if you buy like a pre-constructed deck, it comes exactly built the exact same way there for the digital version. And I think that's a brilliant thing. I think that for Magic, like I have stopped buying as much physical stuff because I've been focused on Arena. I really think that if they had that, or even if it wasn't a 1-for-1 trade, like because packs on Arena are not the same value as a pack in physical, I would still value those packs a little bit more because I'm focused on Arena. Like I would actually be caring about getting physical packs a little bit more. Like I would guess I'd spend an extra $50 at least a year, but if everyone or a lot of people do something average to that, I think it would definitely improve upon it. So that's the one other thing I'd like to see. As Wizards of the Coast also has helped out with Pokemon trading card game in the past as well, I feel like they should be seeing that shift over there anyway. But we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I feel the same way as you. I've had a buddy at work constantly be like, "Hey, Chance, you got to play Commander. Come on, Chance, just buy Commander. Come play." And I keep telling him like, I mean, sure, maybe if I'd gotten into Paper Magic when I first started Arena, so I could like split the budgeting and all that. But my collection on Arena now is like so big. Why would I want to go buy Paper Magic?
Yeah,
just to have one deck's worth of cards.
yeah.
Cool idea.
Go ahead, HJ. I wasn't sure if you were there.
Yeah, I mean, just pondering here. We had a train, so I muted myself. I think it's a great idea And I think that, it's one of those things where they'd have to go on faith, and they might be a little bit nervous to do it because, like the stated design said, the digital magic's doing good. Sales are great there. More physical product is being sold than ever. So like it's kind of like they're double dipping. You know what I mean? And who doesn't want to double dip? Like I get it. But at the same time, maybe that's just like a little bit of a fear-based mindset, or like a lack of, and the support of the community and just the general growth, and like the cross between, like, Doctor is saying that now uh, he can play Commander with his friends at work, because he's been buying paper cards because they are unlocked within his game, so he no longer is just buying digital cards. Um, long term, it probably would support a better, more prosperous community, but it would have to be on faith. I think, like, they'd have to just
Yeah,
try it.
yeah. So there definitely is an issue with they have done well at appeasing older players and making sure that MTG Arena wasn't too expensive. It was worth playing. They put stuff that was exclusive to Arena, so they brought people on there to play. But I do think that the whole shift from, if you were brand new and you started Magic playing on Arena, the shift from playing on Arena to playing paper is a really hard shift. I feel like, because the price difference is crazy big, everything like that. And so I think they've done a good job of making Arena done really well. Like they pushed Arena really well, and that works for when it's new, when it's cool, and when there's a bunch of new players on Arena. But what about all those new players that become old players and still have never bought a physical card? Like, are they going to have to put a digital format for Commander type things? Because Commander is, I think, played more than anything on Arena. Like, it's just like, it is the number one format played in paper for sure. And it's a blast. It's really fun to play. I mean, we can get into the whole. I think there should be two formats of Commander. There should be a CEDH, a competitive, and a non-competitive version. I won't get too far into that, but yeah, I think that overall, they're gonna run into some issues with that for the next 2 to 3 years, and I'm intrigued to see how they do it. I think that they'll handle it well to an extent in some cases. Like, even what they're doing isn't bad. It's just that I think that at some point there needs to be a good bridge to get over to that other side. And I guess kind of, that's, we were talking about this before. That's kind of what Jumpstart was. Jumpstart was a good way to start kind of moving a little bit more towards getting into Commander as a good starter product to get into.
I think the further we move down the timeline, the harder of a transition it is for either side to make. You know what I mean? So no matter where you started, whether you're on the digital side, like myself, or you're, playing Commander full time, like some of those other people, I think right now, and this is a problem that probably is going to want to be addressed somehow, some way. Like right now, I feel like I wouldn't want to start playing Arena much later. You know what I mean? Or else, like, and that's just how my mindset is, that I'm broken. I've got to collect them all, right? I've got the Pokemon mindset. Um, and the further we move along the path, the harder that is going to be because of the farming. Like, it is expensive if you're like, I'm going to buy all the cards. Like, good luck. Hope you've got the black card out. But as someone who's been able to play it from its conception, I've had no trouble farming each set and, spending a little bit of money to complete what I didn't do. As we've progressed, and it's been a very friendly experience, and it's nice to have a loaded account. And I feel, as someone who makes a lot of free-to-play content for beginners, that the pain is there that they can't play whatever top-tier deck that they want, and that pain is going to get worse as we progress, and then they have less access to stuff as a new player. So I'd love to see somehow, some way, them to make that friendlier without like diminishing the accomplishments of everybody who's already put in the time and the effort to get where they've been at, right? Like,
Yeah.
because I don't want it to become a thing where it's so hard for people to, like, get into and access and be like, well, this is a game I'm going to play forever. It's like walking into playing the Commander matches where your friend's got, that $1,000 tune deck and you're sitting down with your $50 budget version. It's just like, what am I even doing, right? So I'd like to see it become a little bit friendlier.
I think that's been a big part of the blowback for the Double Masters. Double Masters is a great set. The price range still is even worthwhile, but it's $350 to buy a product so that you can actually have cards that matter at all in Commander, type of thing. If they had made that cheaper, or had like if they could get the physical cards down to a price where it was reasonable to be able to be competitive at all in Commander, I think they would eliminate some of that issue. At the same time, though, I think that like Dr. Spillikin, you don't play too much physical Magic at all.
Zero.
And I think that's really fine. I think that's cool. I think it's actually, I started with physical Magic, so it's always like it's already burnt into my soul a little bit. That like that's where I started. But I could definitely see what a lot of people coming into MTG Arena and just like, why would I ever shuffle my cards myself? That's terrible. It's dumb. It's like it really is. It's so much time to do that. Why would I spend $5 on a pack when it's half a day worth of playing Magic, to get another pack on here, that kind of thing, where the only issue is not being able to trade. That's the only thing I wish they could have a little bit of, just like have that trading card game feel to it, because that was really fun to be able to like, I need these cards. What do you have? Show me your binder. That there is some fun in that I feel like I'm missing from Arena. That MTG Online kind of had that, where you could trade because you actually own the physical cards you had. I could see them maybe implementing something like that to Arena. I could also see him completely staying away from that for forever, because that's just not how this style of game works. But I don't know. I think there's got to be at least. I hope they reach a hand across the aisle a little bit there, and I'm not sure which way they do it.
That might be the perfect way to do it. And speaking how that makes myself feel, there'd be a lot of happy campers if they're like, you know what, we tied these to tokens or whatever, you own them, you can trade them, like it's going to leave your inventory and you're going to get this new one. Like, woof, that's something else. That's very cool.
And they do it
a lot
completely
of work, but
online, so it's kind of weird that they don't do it here. The reason why they don't, though, is what's the value of a wild card? No matter how good a card is, if it's mythic, it's worth this much. If it's gold, or rare, it's worth this much, because that's kind of how the system is right now, at least with the wild card system. So unfortunately, if they were ever to switch to a trading program, which also would take a ton of programming, they would have to completely take out the wild card system. I do think that without dusting, though, without anything, wild card system doesn't totally work, especially because you can't just buy wild cards. You can't, you have to, the cost of getting a mythic card, like just buying enough packs to get a mythic card if you don't have one, is still so substantial that it's not quite worthwhile. You guys know what I mean, right? Yeah. So like when Jumpstart came out, we ran into this. Jumpstart comes out. I had all the cards from Core Set 2021. I was starting to get into the extra lands that I've already had, that kind of stuff. I wasn't really getting anything else from those packs. Jumpstart comes out, and there's a ton of wild cards I need to have to be able to play it, or keep using the Jumpstart game. But that doesn't totally work either, because you can't consistently hit the right things. You don't know if you're going to do it. It's like those don't get you wild cards, so there's no guarantee you get to it. And so the cost overall would have been way too much to actually get Jumpstart wild cards from mythics, especially rares. I think were a little bit more reasonable. It's okay. And that's why I was really excited Amonkhet came out, just because there was another product that I could dump some money into so I could get wild cards, so that I could actually play Jumpstart. And so that was, and this is me as a person that, I try to have every card in the game so I can make all the content in the world, but yeah, I'm not, did you guys run into the same type of issues at all? I'm not sure if you guys play as much Historic necessarily as I do, but it's been interesting.
I've been in that boat where it's like, you know what, it's time to make a video. I've got this deck I want to do. 3 wild cards short.
Yeah.
Well, let's hit the store. Let's buy some packs. I've got 30,000 gold. Sure, there goes 30 packs. Open it up. I got 1 mythic wild card. Okay. Still need 2 more. Hit the shop. All the gems. Hit the gems. Buy some packs. Okay, I got 2 more mythic wild cards. We're good to go for 1 day.
That's easy.
Right.
If it was, I mean, there is the consistency of when you open enough packs. Like I think it's every, what is it? Every 24 or 18 packs that you open, you get a mythic wild card because it's 2 rares.
2
Because it's
rares, then a mythic.
every 6 you get a rare, and then after every 2 of those you get a mythic instead. So every 18
18.
packs. And what's the overall cost of 18 packs?
18,000 gold. Or it's $1 a pack for me.
Yeah, $1. Yeah. Yeah, there you go.
20 bucks a mythic. I guess that's kind of what they're worth sometimes. Sometimes more.
Yeah.
There's a lot of mythics that are worth like 50 cents though too.
Whenever I first started making content, what I would do basically is go find the card that I could use in multiple decks, so I didn't have that feeling of like, oh shit, got this one card for this one deck. I'd go look at a card and be like, can I make at least 3 decks with this card realistically?
Yeah.
And I love that we were able.
Go ahead.
Sorry, I love that we were able to buy packs of Amonkhet along with the drafts and sealed. Like, Jumpstart was great, but the way that you collected them was kind of weird. Like, you really had to map out your collection and which sets you were playing. And in all honesty, I have a lot more fun playing like the set drafts than I did with the Jumpstart theme decks. Yeah, they were fine, but it was like, when you do a draft or a sealed, you can get some bust cards and make a weird combo that's like super powerful. And that just is a lot more fun to me than like, here's all of these oddly balanced like 2 power level decks that like it's like choking each other out with paper bags. For the most part, some of them were strong. Don't get me wrong, but I love that we were able to do both drafts and sealeds to grow our collection for Amonkhet. And then that we could just, straight up buy packs, which is, a big win for someone who's impatient like myself. Because, if there were Jumpstart packs available, like if I could have bought Jumpstart packs, I would have, but they didn't allow me to, right?
Yeah,
it's like, well, you have to farm this event, and
yeah,
I only have so much time because I'm creating content full time. You know what I mean? So it's like I can't farm this event for 8 hours a day. So, play it a couple times and
it's fun, but
move
not
on.
that fun. It's like it was fun. I wanted to do it a few times, but like for me, it was like 5 times through it. I was like, I'm not gonna do that again. It was cool.
Not enough to get all my lands. I think I got 2 of the lands, 2 out of 5. Hopefully they come to the store. Wink, wink, wizards. Yeah. So I really like if they could continue to at least release the packs in the store, because like you said, to get all the Jumpstart cards with your wilds is a substantial investment within both time and money. And it could be trimmed down a lot less if we could at least buy the majority of the the set through packs. Like I'm pretty sure the farming rate through seals and drafts is like way better than trying to farm all of the Jumpstart cards. Like, I almost don't even think it is possible to farm all your Jumpstart cards through the event. Like, woof.
So HEG, you were talking about at the very beginning of talking about this article that we're supposed to be talking about, that it basically states that Wizards is like, yo, we know you guys aren't happy about certain things. We're listening. How much do you think Wizards is listening about some of these things we're talking about as well? Like, MTG Goldfish has posted, videos about this issue of just like we can't get wild cards for Jumpstart, those kinds of things. Do you feel like they're going to be listening to that and then try to create a fix for it or something? Or is this just going to be something where it's like, we messed up on that one, maybe move forward? Or is it just something they're going to blow past and just kind of keep doing their own thing? And to both of you guys.
I think out of the gate, it could go either way. I want to say that if we're thinking about it and we're having the conversation about it, that they're not listening because they already know. You know what I mean? Like, they're on the front lines. Someone has had that thought and brought it up, and they're like, well, we're gonna see how it works. You know what I mean? Like, I hear you, I understand you. You could be right, but let's try it. Let's see how it goes. So I think all problems that arise that they're because they've got a full team on that,
Yeah.
addressing problems, and like just it's more than and I know that they're, as a society, we have more people in the game than they do testers or whatever, but still, I just the knowledge level that they all possess working within their game is quite a bit higher, I think, than the average consumers. So like the decisions they make are maybe a little bit more well-founded than just like random, I don't like this situation, right? Like, because people won't like anything if you give them a choice. And it doesn't necessarily mean that it's correct. Like, so I think that if they were to remedy it, that would be cool, right? Because they could get more money out of me. Yeah, you guys, right? Out of all three of us. But at the same time, my OCD is like, well, we made a pattern, we have to keep the pattern. So it's like, if they don't fix it now, that might be just like a pattern that we have forever.
Okay.
And it's like, kind of deal with it type situation, which would be unpleasant. But then again, we just have to kind of realize that, and maybe do marathon content of us farming these events.
Well, I think Wizards, as a company, they're very much future focused, so even when a new set is like literally dropping, their design team is already well into the next set. Like, how is this going to play with that and all this and that. They're already getting the art ready, they're getting the mechanics ready, so they're at least 1, 2, maybe even 3 sets ahead as far as like concepts, right? So I think that's part of like why it takes them so long to fix a problem, because when they come to a problem, rather than it being a stop in the road, like let's go back and fix that real quick, it's more like a speed bump, and they're just like, well, fuck it, keep the vehicle going, and we'll have somebody come back when we get a free minute, and they'll like patch that shit.
It'll smooth that over.
Yeah, I think they're much more like just keep moving forward, and I think what they do is they actually trust the people on their team a lot, because it feels like they have a lot of small teams and they're very like branched out, and all those teams are like up to the ceiling in work, because it feels like
I can get behind that.
Yeah, it just feels like every
Like,
team is like pushing for something. They're pushing for mobile, they're pushing for the next set, they're pushing this and that, and all the people within those groups are like, yeah, I'm just doing what the guy above me told me to do. So
this actually comes into a really, really important point with corporation versus a smaller business. A lot of people, judge Wizards as though they were a small business, where you should be able to see a problem, fix a problem, turn it around really quick. Corporations are a little bit different. Like this is business 101. Corporations take longer to make decisions because they are corporations. They have lots of people there. That again, business 101. I remember learning about this in my class. And so but like if you are a small entrepreneurship type of small team, you're able to make changes, alternate roads really quickly, because there's only so many people you have to get into it. When there are 15 teams working on 15 different projects, how do those work cohesively? How do those do everything? And so I think that while it is frustrating to see people like games like Legends of Runeterra, which is just they nailed it. They've done a really good job with the client, with everything there. The only issue with it is that it's not Magic the Gathering. It's like that really is it. It's just the game is not as fun for me, but they crushed it with everything else. It is frustrating to see people do really good job with that kind of stuff, and really work on hitting the right points first. But they've never had to deal with having an entire physical, base format to their games as well. They've never had to deal with, just all the different stuff that Wizards it does have to deal with. Where if they print too much of this card, people get really angry because it hurts the whole commodities market that is going on with physical cards of Magic and everything like that. Like I think that, and that's kind of why I was saying like the hand across the aisle thing that's going to be happening for the next 2 years is it's basically going to be, hey, just so you guys know, we care a little bit less and less about your physical cards. Sell them out now, make the money now, because I really think this is just where it's going. Is I don't know, maybe not. I think they'll maybe keep doing like the double masters, big expensive stuff for physical cards, but overall, I think that that's the biggest thing that's got to change for Arena to really pop and do well. Is without that change, if they keep having the focus be on a balance between physical cards and digital cards, the digital will just always be lagging behind whatever else is out there digitally. And I think it's with instances like this, with the Jumpstart not being able to actually buy cards because they haven't gone through the testing to figure out if they should be dusting or not. I really think that's what it comes down to. Is like we would love to find a better system, but what we found works, and it's not important right now to do that over making sure that we have double masters released, that we have the next commander sets tested right now, that we have all the different things going on. Like they're working on 100 things at a time, and so it's definitely not like I'm not poo-pooing on their efforts or whatever they're doing. It's just they're a corporation, and there's downsides to that, and it's a little bit frustrating that Arena is kind of their new baby, like the new thing that I really think is going to take off and do amazing. And it's not getting the food it needs, right now. It's not quite, I would say they're doing 80% of everything that they should be doing with it, so they're doing a good job, everything there, but that 20% definitely is missed.
Yeah. All in all, I am happy with Wizards at the end of every day. I went on my vacation and I was still excited to come back and play Magic. So I feel like that's a good test of like, is this game good? And am I happy to get off vacation and come back and be like, yes, I want to play it, or am I miserable sitting there thinking like, oh fuck, I don't want to go back and look at those cards any. But I was super happy. I was super excited. I came back and even played some of the old decks that I'd made before I left, just to play some Magic. So I am happy in general with the state of the game, with where it's going, and not everybody has all the patience in the world to wait a year or wait 6 months for Arena to smooth out and be exactly what you want. And if that's the case, don't feel bad for putting a game down and then coming back to it, because there's historic, so you'll at least keep that collection there, and you'll always be able to return to that. And so the paper players, they should be thinking about it similarly to how you play Magic in your life, where it's like you don't go out and play with your paper cards every single day, and you don't worry about going to the store and picking up a pack every single day. You just sort of have them, play when your friends are around, and don't worry about it when they're not, right? And I think more people should be looking at Arena like that, as opposed to how us content creators look at it, where it's like, no, this is the game that I'm playing 8 hours a day or 4 hours or whatever your time schedule allows.
You brought up a really good point. I've actually had this question asked in my comment sections like 15 times recently. Hey, I'm returning. I'm a returning player. I haven't played in the last year. What's the best thing to be jumping into now? Let's talk about that a little bit, because there is a lot of exciting stuff coming out. Rotation is usually when a lot of people come back to the game. So Zendikar Rising is coming out. Of course, we don't know exactly what's there, but what things would you guys buy if you didn't have, you're not a new player, Magic, what's going on. You have, some stuff here and there. What kind of things would you be going for initially to actually grow? How would you answer that question?
I guess it depends. What they want. Everybody likes different things. Some people just like to play limited, do their drafts, right? Some people want to climb that ladder and be top mythic, compete and live the dream. Other people just want to play that jank life in historic or whatever, right? So first off, I try to like ask people what they want to do, right? I'd hate to send someone in the wrong direction, because we all like different things, right? And some people like brawl, you know what I mean? So I just kind of try to see what they want, and more times than not, the majority who are asking this question are like looking to farm their collection and like hit mythic, right? Those are the two most common things that I see. The people who want to play Brawl just go and play Brawl, for example. The people who want to play Draft just go and Draft. They're not asking these questions. So they're looking for like, what packs do I buy, right? Where should my gold be going? What drafts should I be doing? Is that the way to farm? So they just kind of want to know like how to allocate their resources. And personally, as a free to play advocate, the cycling deck from Ikoria is just so busted. 0 rares, 0 mythics, throw 1 rare Lurrus in there, you're
Crazy.
set. You can go top 500 with that. So it's like I really
need Lurrus in it either.
So I really push right now people to buy Ikoria packs because you can unlock that cycling deck really, really quickly. And it's really, really powerful. So then you can, you're all checked off. You can use the cycling deck in your constructed events and farm your collection if you've got the time commitment and want to do that. And then you also pick up the mutate within Ikoria. Paradise Druid rotates, which is a big function of that, but it's just an uncommon, so it shouldn't be too hard. And this is super busted as well for 0 rares and 0 mythics, like just total uncommons and commons. So I try to just like to make them aware of like a couple of cool decks that they could get. Most decks are kind of like spread out through multiple sets, right? But I think we got pretty lucky with Ikoria for free-to-play individuals because there's not only the cycling deck, which is just like, it's so good. It's better than anything else. But then you do also get the mutate. So you get something like super competitive, and then you get like something super fun that is like, not competitive, but it can pop off and feel like it is. So I push people towards Ikoria if, they're looking to grow their standard collection and reach rank, but it just comes down to what they want, right?
I like that because I when I answered that one last time, I said Thronicle Drain instead because Adventures is just such a like all cards in Adventures are just so valuable that it's something where you can put them into almost any deck. But I think you're right. The cycling deck is way cheaper to build and really powerful. What about you, Dr. Spoken? Someone that hasn't played for a year, missed out on 2 sets, is like, yo, or 3 sets.
Yeah.
What do I start building now? What am I missing?
Oh,
How would I be competitive?
I'm a very like carefree kind of person. I'm not a very competitive person. So like anytime I come back into a game, the first thing I do is play my old stuff, right? And so whether it be 2 sets, 3 sets, last rotation, whatever, I'd probably come back and like refill the game out, right? And from there, as much as people don't like hearing it, you might need to go read. Like just skim through the sets, instead of, and this is going to sound a little harsh, but instead of asking someone else's opinion of like, hey, what should I do, like, you're your own human being. Read what you enjoy. I enjoy zombies, so if I was to come back, I'd be like, where are the fucking zombies at? I don't care if it's historic or brawl or draft, like I just want to play zombies. And so that's how my mind works. Like if I'm coming back into the game, I'm just beelining it for the tribal I want, or if I'm a limited player, I'm going for limited. If I'm coming back to be in the game, just go watch the top streamers. Like just go watch the most competitive person, That's what we all do as well to sort of get our knowledge. We're not out here like crafting a whole new meta ourselves. So I think people, as much as I love helping the community, as much as I love giving my opinion out and all that, I hate when someone comes up to me and they're like, hey, how should I spend my wild cards? Because you know what? Like HGG said, you should have fun with your wild cards. You should have fun with your money. And me telling you how to have fun is like, I feel like a principal. Like you get 15 minutes of recess, but you can only be on the swings,
I feel like this is why we build decks every day, is because instead of it being like, all these different things, it's for me, it's never been fun to just go back and read a bunch of cards. That's why I've not gone back and read all the modern cards. I've not gone back and read all of Commander's cards because there's so many flipping cards. I'm never going to do it. But I will go and watch other people's content that play older formats because I love seeing, oh, they're playing this card I've never heard of and it has these cool interactions. And I've probably watched enough of like MTG Goldfish's modern stuff that I could probably get in and play modern pretty well now, just because I've watched his stuff, never having played modern ever before. And so I do think that watching YouTube people would build decks where it's like, hey, if you aren't someone that wants to go through and read every single card, or you are looking at different things, Google, YouTube search, check out Hello Good Game, Dr. Spillikin, and say like, yo, the awesome, what's the best deck they've got? And then yeah, you'll find new, fun, interesting stuff that way for sure.
All right, so I mean, like, just so everybody's aware listening, we're getting hundreds of comments a day, and we do our best to reply to all of them. And it's not that we don't want to reply to them. This is the business that we've chosen. We like to help you. That's our main goal. But just don't be so vague, and come in with like a little bit of a backstory. Like if you come in with like 6 words, you know what I mean. You're gonna get 6 words, and it's not maybe going to be the most accurate 6 words. It won't be wrong, but without us knowing, a little bit more about you and what you want and what you enjoy, it's such a like you maybe put us on such a pedestal of authority, but it's like misplays my middle name, bros. You could just see. So just yeah, don't be scared to ask questions. We really do enjoy answering them, but come from a place of like completion. Be like, this is my background, this is what I like, this is what I don't like. What do you recommend out of these few things, rather than just like, lead me, because it's like, lead you where, right?
Be concise. Don't write a novel, because again, 100 novels a day would be difficult to read through.
Yeah,
but
I think that's where people like, as a YouTube viewer, because I still go back and watch Magic people and all that. You got to understand, a comment to a content creator is a comment about that video. It's a comment about what they said in that, or the cards that they played in that, or about their general personality, whatever. But it's not a whole conversation. It's not a place for a whole conversation. There's a reason why we all have Discords. There's a reason why I know my email is on my channel. I'm sure y'all have like some email link somewhere. If you want to have an extended conversation, we're human beings. You got to reach out. But YouTube comment is like a stick it posty note on a wall, right? It's like a drop in the suggestion box at a restaurant. We're gonna read it, and if we have time to like respond right then, yes, we will. But if we got burgers on the grill and shit to do, we're just probably gonna toss it to the side and come back later if we remember it. So,
like, we both just said the exact opposite of what HCG was just saying.
I reply to every single comment, boys. It takes me hours a day.
Oh god, yeah. See, my thing is like, if you want to get into a conversation with me, like, hit me up on Discord, because I'm like, that's gonna be there forever until I come back and like, all right, here's this message. So my main thing for viewers is like, know your outlet. If you comment on something, I might not see it. It may be gone because I post a video every single day, but my Discord channel is always going to be there. So, I guess it's weird, huh? It's weird being a viewer and then going to a new channel and not knowing their etiquette.
Yeah, because apparently it's not the same.
No, like I feel like all Magic people have their own like, this is what I want.
Yeah.
I also used to answer every single comment until it got to too many.
Oh.
I'm Quinner at 10K.
I've seen that same thing happen with 3 different channels that I've been a part of, and it's once it gets like over, it's usually around like 75 to 200 a day, like that range where it's happening every single day, that many comments, that it gets to where it's like that's a 3 to 5 hour job just to answer comments every single day. And
you skip a day? Oh,
dude, yeah. So
oh man, you're
anyway,
telling me.
yeah.
I've been gone for 2 weeks.
Let's go ahead and jump into some kind of conclusions, or just like what are our final thoughts on just where Arena is, this article that we had here, any other news or any thoughts you guys have about this week?
Yeah, it's been a great week. Super excited for the future of Arena, and I think that this article, I didn't know that it existed before now, so thank you for that, Jeff. I think that doing these things is very, very crucial for even down to a personal level, even away from business. to like go back and reflect and write down a list of like, hey, this is where we may have messed up or whatever. It takes a lot of responsibility and a lot of what's the word I'm looking for? A lot of honesty to like come forward and be like, hey, this is where we screwed up. We're gonna try to move forward, and this is what we heard from you guys. So it even gives the audience a chance to be like, no, 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 we weren't mad about that. We were mad about this, you know. So I feel like they're being, I won't say 100% transparent, but they're being as transparent as they can with as much as they can, and I really appreciate that.
All right, guys, stop commenting about the shuffler. I'm over it. I used to play Paper Magic a little bit, and it was to the point where I bought myself an automatic card shuffler for fucking casino because I would blame myself on the shuffling. You know what? This vein of land, 6 land in a row, that's all my fault. I need to not shuffle my own deck anymore, right? But then you can't have the other person shuffle it because then
Brilliant, by the way.
now they've done it to you. So like, to pull land or no land, that happens. It's not a perfect game where you just gain resources every round and it's just like a weird like value off. It's there is chance and there is skill to knowing your deck. And I try to put this forth. The mulligan system is so underused in my opinion. You guys got to learn how to mulligan. Like, get both colors, get 3 lands. So that was just on the forefront of my mind. I know that's not really anything to wrap up with, but I think with this year, it's kind of been weird for everybody, and we need to remember, that Wizards and Magic is filled with just regular people like us as well, trying to, get through these times. So, I probably wouldn't expect and be upset because of what's happened. We've talked about mobile coming out this winter. Might not hit in 2020, might be a 2021 thing. But again, I think Wizards is like really, really nice in the fact that they've recognized the fact that a lot of us are waiting on that and really excited for it. So just like, I know I forget what happened. I think maybe when the whole thing happened, they gave us Brawl full time, right? Like we were doing those brawls you had to pay 10K for, and now you get them for free. So I think they will alleviate some of the pain or the waiting pain for that. Personally, I think it's going to be historic Brawl ranked Q. We'll see though.
Yeah.
So I'm happy. Like the game's great. We've got lots of new cards coming. They talked about Pioneer, so it's like, as someone who strives to collect every card and wants a complete collection, you know what? I'm nervous. I'm scared. I got a lot of work to do. I got a lot of events to farm, a lot of wild cards to collect, right? And I just hope to see that they maybe stray away from the jumpstart situation and go more towards the Amonkhet Remastered, where they're still injecting old cards into the game, but now we just have more options to collect them. It's not only one route to take and then drain your reserves of wild cards and still not get them all. So I think that's a lot of fun. And then we did have some cards as well that weren't included within the remastered set and maybe won't be included in the future. I think that this is kind of an oversight, perchance. I think that these cards should be included, but if they don't want them within the game, they should go immediately onto a suspended list, but they should still be included within the client so that when things change and evolve and rebalance in the future, they're not now saying, well, no, we added these cards again from this old set, or, well, we've got to add these cards in a new set from that old set. You know what I mean? Like it can be kind of convoluted potentially. So I think it would be really cool if they did full releases and then just the cards they didn't want in immediately went to suspended lists. They were still in your client. And, that does support my broken mindset of being a crazy collector who wants them all, right? 'Cause I'm not getting them all anymore.
Gotta catch them all. That's awesome. I think overall, my final thoughts on everything is just that it is nice to have Wizards actually address issues and talk about them and actually get into it. And it's not like these are all of the issues ever or all the issues that are even out there still or whatever. But it's kind of cool to hear Mark Rosewater talk about the year and just kind of what's been going on, what's everything, all the different products, and there's been a ton of products. There's been a lot of stuff coming out. And I think that's the biggest thing, is remembering this is a corporation. They have their, there's many hands in the cookie jar right now, or whatever the idiom is. And it's cool. So with that said, Magic is still the funnest game. It just is. Like, I think that I found a lot of other fun games, and it's not like you don't go and find other ones, but I think that they just keep nailing it. There's just a lot of
It's
the
consistent.
that are just really fun and cool. So with that said, I think that yeah, I just enjoy it. I'm really excited to keep seeing what else comes out, because that is what also makes it really fun. So yeah, with that, Dr. Spilkin, if you want to sign us off, have
Yeah.
at it, bro.
Thanks everybody for watching. If you're looking for more episodes, Spotify, SoundCloud, all that good stuff. I never did iTunes. I'm so lazy. Thanks everybody for watching. Check us all on our respective channels. If you're on mine watching this, be sure to go check them out. If you're on SoundCloud, check us all out. All that great stuff. Thanks everybody. And you got anything else? Peace.
Sound.